Hello, good afternoon, and this is Viewpoint. Today is October 21st, 2021, and I have the opportunity to be joined with our Mayor, Diana Broderson. I appreciate this request to be able to help facilitate this meeting, knowing that you're running again for our mayor again for 2022.
Yes.
So I have a few questions that I wanted to throw at you and hopefully see if you could help us and let the community understand a little bit of your history and why you're running for mayor upcoming this election.
Absolutely.
So looking at some of the comments and questions that I've had is why are you running? I guess that's kind of one of the things that we would want to know. What spurs the desire to want to run again for re-election?
Well, I really feel like there's more to be done. I've enjoyed serving the community. Folks have reached out to me. I've been able to help them with some of their concerns and issues that they were facing. And I've really enjoyed being a public servant and being available to the community. One of the reasons that I ran for office to begin with was I do, in my day job at the Y, work with families, and I've done that for more years than I care to share, almost 25. But anyway, I've really enjoyed being able to strengthen families and help them really find strength from within and become more self-sufficient, be a stronger family, be able to be active in their community in the way that they want. Not everybody wants the same thing, and I think one of the things that we always try to look at is, we want to, quote Krista Reganetter always says, we want to treat people the way we want to be treated, and she always says we want to treat people the way they want to be treated, which isn't always the same. And I think that's something for us to remember, meeting people where they're at. But serving the people of Muscatine has been my great pleasure these past 6 years.
So knowing the number of years now that you've served and the accomplishments that you've been able to do, looking at this upcoming years, knowing that we've had so many challenges with COVID and how the city's been able to strategically continue to move forward, what would be then your strategic plan moving forward into 2022, into the next couple of years if reelected?
Well, there's a lot of things that we really want to focus on, and we did do a strategic plan earlier this year. We're in a really good place with the city staff, the city administrator, and council and myself working together. I mean, we're really working together like hasn't been for a long, long time. And when you work together, that's when things really can become better outcomes, positive outcomes for the entire community. And you and I have seen that, as well as we've put together county and city and school board joint meetings. Working together, we can combine our resources, and the talent that is out there is just amazing. We don't have to think that we can all do it ourselves, but when we work together, we can really realize some of those good outcomes. And certainly housing is at the top. We have this new housing group, of which you're one of the lead on, making sure that we are addressing the housing barriers that we have in our community. That really is critical to some of the other issues that we have. Once we get the housing projects done and where they need to be, then that's going to help us in a variety of other ways. But that is one of those benchmarks that we really need to work on. And customer service. That's something that we've strived for over these past few years, and certainly now we're in the best place possible to really move the needle on the expectation that our citizens of Muscatine should be able to have regarding their local government, and what kind of services are available to them and what they can expect when they call and the treatment that they receive. And so that's one of our strategic plans also, is to provide better customer service to the community.
So part of that customer service is you being, accessible.
Yes.
And one of the few things that sometimes is difficulty is access to, elected officials, or, what do you do then to keep yourself accessible? Do you provide information to the public, or how are you accessible?
I do in a variety of ways, actually. One of the main things I do is I put my cell phone out there I put it out there everywhere and say, call me anytime you want. Call me, text me. People go on my Facebook. I have a Facebook page, personal, and a mayor one. They can go on, they instant message me. Sometimes people are more comfortable with that rather than talking in person. They'd prefer to instant message, even if it's late at night. Then when I get to the phone, I can respond. They email me, call me, stop me at Hy-Vee. And that's fine too.
Is it just a stroll through to get your groceries, or do you normally get stopped?
Oh, I get stopped.
Okay, just want to make sure.
I get stopped. Yes, my granddaughter says, "Grandma, just keep walking." I said, "No, we want to stop and visit with people."
Even with a mask and everything, they still.
Oh yeah,
okay.
oh yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, being accessible to the people, it is something that's really important to them. They want to be able to call me and say, Mayor, I've got this problem here. Somebody called me this morning. Mayor, I want to know, about these parking spaces downtown. And then I can be that bridge for them, contact city staff, because they don't always know what department does what thing. Mm-hmm. And so I can be that bridge, get the information, get it back to them. And that's what I really enjoy being able to do for them.
And that's a huge asset. I think that's a challenge that you want to be accessible, and when people know that you're accessible, that's obviously a return customer type service when you think about customer service. So in your return service type things, what other things are you doing besides that? Or is the city now looking at, I knew that years back there was customer service from inspections, customer service. Has any of that been moved forward?
We're doing more surveys now.
Okay.
So actually, sometimes we might think we're doing a good job, and we're really not. We need to ask the customers. And I remember back years ago, even you asking us, are you reaching out and asking how was our service? If we don't have that data and those details, then how do we really know where we're at on that line?
True gauge of where.
True gauge,
yeah.
Exactly. And so, yeah, we actually have a survey going out in the next week or so to the community, getting some ideas from them and some information on what are we doing well, what would they like to see, why are they here. And we also have adopted a program called Heart and Soul. And we started that with the Grandview Avenue Revitalization Project. One of the things that is important to me is that we don't assume that we know what everybody wants. So when we're working on Grandview Avenue revitalization and putting this store there, or helping facilitate it certainly, or doing different things in the neighborhood, we might think they want this or this or this, but it's up to them what they want. That's their neighborhood, And so this Heart and Soul project really gets to the guts of hitting the people where they're at, in their neighborhoods, in their communities. Get to their neighborhood and ask them, what can we do to help you? What kind of things can we do? What do you want? What do you not want? Are we in your business and you want us out of the way? But really being mindful of their opinions and not just assuming we know what they want.
Okay, and that's great. I never even heard of this, which I think is great. But how does somebody access that? Where do you get Heart and Soul? If I who volunteer on Grandview Avenue, how do I say, hey, I think this would be a great idea, or is there a way of accessing that?
Yes, so it's on our website.
On the city website.
You can also call the development department and they'd be happy to get it to you. And we've been going around, we've been having just a handful of surveys at the farmers market. Takes a few questions, fill it out at the Almost Friday Fest. So we're getting out in the community and giving people the opportunity in that way. We've also met with businesses and residents, and we've put together a team that's working with businesses, a team that's working with prospective economic development, people that are working with recreation, working with the residents, and then we have an overall team that's working on it. But then each one of these pillars has an individual team that's really getting to the heart and soul of what do we need to do to make things better in Muscatine? How can we improve? How can we serve you better?
So then they get that data, and then somehow that matrix of data gets to your desk.
Absolutely.
Or to the council.
Yep.
Okay.
It does.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, that's definitely something that I wasn't aware of. So when you're thinking about this upcoming 2 years, and you've started some unique things that I thought were great in the combination of the county, city, and school board now meetings, and I think you've led a couple of those or facilitated some of those meetings. Um, what positive outcomes do you think will come forward out of that, and what other? I know that you talked about duplicating services, and that was some of those things. So, elaborate a little bit more. What do you think moving forward? Is that something that you want to continue to see or share with?
Absolutely. You know, the county and the city and the school board, those groups are so interconnected. And one thing that we have to recognize, and we certainly have, is that we all have problems and we all have good things in common. So where can we highlight our successes? What are we doing well that we all three can continue to do well and improve? And what kind of issues do we have that we can all work on together? It doesn't make any sense for the county, the school board, and the city to each work on housing on their own. What we need to collaborate our resources, share our talents, and work for the best of the community, because people that live in Muscatine also live in Muscatine County and have their kids go to Muscatine schools, and so that's the same person. So let's collaborate our efforts and work together. And yes, we do. We have them planned out for next year. We've talked about each one of the governmental bodies then adopting one of the meetings for the year. We'll have 3 meetings. Each one adopts one and comes up with the agenda and really puts some thought into what kind of topics and things do we want to work on. Certainly housing is something that impacts each one of us.
Correct. I mean, and when you think about it, you know, you're right on the bypass, and then across the street is the county, and across the other side is the city. So having that facilitation moving forward, I think there are a lot of good positives that may come from those, and hopefully, you know, making sure that, you know, if there's ways that we can combine services, if it's from the challenges that you know we've now been able to work through, from, you know, drug task force, combined services with the county, hazmat services, from, you know, the emergency, you know, services, and I think on the emergency teams, to moving forward into even now questions that we've had from the transfer station and from county and city and school board. What, knowing that I believe that this meeting that we had with the county and the school board, that was one of the first ones that had happened ever since you were mayor, correct? Have you ever had one before that?
You and I have done 2 here recently, and we talked about it. We were just talking in the hallway 5 or 6 years ago, and you and I talked about this is something needed. Yeah, that was the first time in 10, 15 years that we've all worked together on a project.
So that's a unique thing that I think you and the city council helped spearhead. What other unique things have you done that would probably be saying that maybe not other mayors may have done?
Well, I really enjoy getting down and working with the people. So I meet with the students, go to Jesus Mission or Salvation Army and see what the people are doing and what kind of help they need. I enjoy visiting with senior citizens. I could sit and listen to my grandpa for days on end, and so that always brings that back to me talking to them. I send I've not really shared it publicly until here recently, but I send a birthday card to every senior in the nursing homes in Muscatine, and I've done that since I was first elected 6 years ago, just being able to bring a smile to somebody's face in that way. But really meeting with the people and taking on their problems. So the railroad thing was one. You know, I had people contacting me saying, Mayor, man, I'm stuck down here on these railroad tracks forever, and I've got to go somewhere. My child's going to be late for school, or I got to go to work. And I had even a couple businesses saying, you know, we're paying a guy to sit there in a delivery truck, and he's just sitting there because we can't get through. And so I thought I want to tackle that problem. And so I started making phone calls and sending emails and they'd say, you know, I'm not the right person, and I'd get to the next person and the next person, until I finally got it pinned down to, okay, who do I have to talk to? And I got a meeting with the vice president of Canadian Pacific and one of his staff persons, and got a meeting, and I invited our city administrator to attend, as well as Nadine Brockert, because that that down there is her ward, and they weren't aware that there was a problem going on. Of course, you know, their frontline workers did, and their local people, but I explained to them, you know, what a problem that is for Muscatine, and I even included the Fruitland area because I said I don't want to just pass off the problem to our neighbors, you know, and have you know, just carry it down. But it needs to be what the rule is, which is 10 minutes. You know, anything over 10 minutes, holding up a crosswalk is excessive, or not a driveway. And so let's not do that. These crossings need to be opened after 10 minutes. And they were right on board with it. They said, we're going to work on that, Mayor. And I've heard a lot of people comment back that things are better, and they're really noticing a big difference. And I feel so happy that I was able to help the people in that way. That's what I enjoy, being that public servant and fighting for the people in whatever way they need me.
Well, that's what normally people want to have, you know, somebody that helps represent and serve. So looking at those, you know, changes that you've been able to help implement, moving forward into, you know, some of the changes that I think that are coming forward with what COVID has come in and some of the challenges that you've had, what do we see moving forward, knowing that the city had been tasked with utilizing ARPA funds, and what do you think your team is looking at moving forward in the upcoming years with those funds?
So we do have some ARPA funds. We were able to get some COVID relief money last year in 2020. In calendar 2020, we actually lost $20 million between road use taxes and all of the other things like not being able to rent out our park shelter. We weren't able to have, or I'm sorry, $2 million in 2020. We weren't able to
that was quite
open our, yeah, 20 million now, 2 million in 2020, say that right. But we weren't able to open the pool and different things like that.
Hotel, motel,
yeah. So we got hit pretty hard, and so we did get some funds to help with that. But then the ARPA funds came through, which is the American Rescue Plan. And the city of Muscatine's getting about $3.2 million. We already got 1.76, and we'll get another 1.76 next year. And of course, there's rules on what you can do with that money, what you can't do with that money. One thing we know is that we have time, so we don't have to explain to the government what we're going to do with that money. We have until 2024 to give them an explanation.
Yep.
And we have until 2026 to actually spend it. So we do have some time. So we want to take our time and really explore what can we do with this money that's going to have the biggest impact for the good for Muscatine. You know, just like if you were at home and you had a big windfall, you don't want to run out and buy a new TV. You want to stop, sit down, what can I do? You know, should I pay off this bill? Should I buy this? What's going to help us moving forward? And some of the things that you can do with this money are sewer infrastructure. You can't use it for roads unless you can, they put together this really detailed Excel document that you can plug in to try to figure out how much money did you lose. So for everything that you can show that you actually lost, you could use it for roads. Otherwise, you can't. So you have to be able to prove a loss to use it for roads. But you can use it to help on community efforts, and you can use it for premium pay. You know, some of us stayed home a lot during the pandemic and did virtual meetings, but some people were out there on the front lines. So that's one option. So there are a variety of things that we can do. So what we have been doing up until this point is really educating ourselves on it. So I've been to a lot of meetings with other mayors, lots of conferences about it. Nancy Leak, our finance director, and our city administrator, Carol Webb, they've been attending a lot of meetings to try to get ideas from other communities and what they're doing with the money. But also we want to see, you know, we know the county got some money as well. So we want to see what are other people doing. We don't want to duplicate. You know, that's one thing that we always want to be careful. If you guys are going to work on this, then maybe we should work on that. And if we're going to work on this, maybe you should work on that. Let's make sure that we highlight what one another's doing, but not double up, so that everything gets met.
And that may come back to that joint meeting.
Absolutely.
You know, and leveraging those discussions, because now you're able to say, we don't want to duplicate a service, ideally, and if there's ways that we can, serve together because we are serving the community locally, I think that's a big positive. So I appreciate that feedback. So as we're looking out, coming into, your reelection, reelection coming up this next month. I'm sorry. What can we talk to the public? What can we tell them about why someone should vote for Diana to be the mayor again in this reelection? Tell us why we want to do that, and what your thoughts are that you want to share to the public.
I just want the people to know that I'm not running with any hidden agenda. I'm here to serve my friends and neighbors here in Muscatine. I'm a grandma. We have 6 kids and 9 grandkids, and my husband and I, our whole family goes to First Baptist Church, and then we go to Sunday dinner after every Sunday, and I shop at the same stores and go do the same things as the people that I serve, and that's why they're so important to me, and that's why doing a good job for them is so important to me. That's why I give them my phone number, so that they can call me and say, hey, I've got this issue, and what do you think about this, and who should I call about that, and that's important to me, and I want people to know that being involved in community is something that has long been a desire of mine and something that was important to me. So even before I ever ran for local office, I cared enough to go vote for local offices, to be involved, to volunteer, and I think that speaks to what I'm really about, and that's public service for the community.
Well, we've known each other for many years, and I appreciate the request to come help facilitate this questions, and I encourage everyone to get out and vote come this November, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.